3 signs your vaginal tissue broke down after a hysterectomy. Number 1, extreme dryness down there. I mean, it literally feels like every drop of moisture has been sucked out, like the Sahara Desert mixed with sitting on a cactus. Even wearing your favorite jeans has become painful. And here's the worst part. No amount of lube seems to help. Number 2, sex has become excruciating. It feels like being stabbed with shards of glass. The first time you tried after surgery, the pain was so bad you had to stop within minutes. And months later, it's still the same, or even worse. The pain doesn't even stop after sex. The cramping lasts for days. And number 3, the thought of sex makes your stomach drop. Not because you don't love your husband, but because you know what's coming. The pain, the cramping, the days of recovery. So you make excuses. You avoid it, you feel guilty, but you just can't face it anymore. Look, before you panic, there's actually a simple way to fix this. Please know this is not your fault. But before I tell you what it is, let me explain why this is even happening. See, here's what most doctors won't take the time to explain. Ovaries aren't just baby-making organs. They're also your body's estrogen factory. And estrogen, that's the hormone responsible for keeping your vaginal tissue strong and moist. It's literally what keeps everything down there healthy and functioning. But when ovaries are removed during a hysterectomy, estrogen production doesn't just drop, it crashes almost completely overnight. And when that happens, you don't just get a little dry, you actually lose up to 90% of your vaginal protective layers. Think about that for a second. You go from 30 strong, cushioned layers down to just 3 fragile ones. It's like going from a thick protective barrier to weak tissue paper. And with only 3 layers left protecting you, your nerve endings are completely exposed. And that's where the razor blade feeling comes from. Your tissue becomes so fragile that even a gentle touch, like putting on underwear or sitting down or walking, it causes pain that lasts for days. And let me tell you, it only gets worse if you ignore it. Unlike hot flashes that eventually go away, vaginal tissue breakdown is one of the few symptoms that just keeps getting worse. That's why lube, creams, moisturizers will never work. They only sit on the surface. They do nothing about the underlying vaginal tissue breakdown. And if you're like me, you probably don't want lab-made hormones in your body either. So a few months ago, I'm up at 2 a.m., couldn't sleep because the burning sensation was keeping me awake. So I'm scrolling through women's health forums and I kept seeing the same product mentioned over and over and over again. Women saying things like, "This gave me my life back," and "painless sex for the first time in years." I mean, hundreds of women were talking about it. So obviously I had to dig deeper. Turns out it's this natural solution called HydraHer. Now at first I was skeptical. I mean, I'd literally tried so many things that didn't work. But when I started reading about how it actually works, everything clicked. Let me explain. See, HydraHer contains 2 key ingredients, maca root and slippery elm. Now, these aren't some new synthetic chemicals. These ingredients have actually been used for over 2,000 years. Ancient cultures used them for hormonal balance and women's health. But it's not just ancient wisdom. Modern science backs this up too. New studies show that maca actually works on your hormone control center, not by adding synthetic hormones to your body, but by signaling your own system to rebuild vaginal tissue, going back from 3 layers back up to 20, 25, even 30 over time. Slippery elm is the second ingredient, and this is where things get really interesting. Slippery elm contains something called mucilage. It's this thick gel-like substance that your body creates from the inside out. Think of it like a protective coating, not something you're putting on your skin, but something your body is producing internally to protect and soothe the tissue. Not only that, it also triggers natural moisture production in the vaginal walls. So here's how these 2 ingredients work together. Maca is rebuilding your protective layers over the next weeks. That's the long-term fix. But slippery elm, that gives you fast relief from that raw burning feeling. On top of that, it's packed with biotin, vitamin A, and B6 to balance hormones and activate natural moisture production. So if you're dealing with any of these 3 signs, I genuinely recommend giving this a shot. It's hormone-free, all natural, and doesn't come with a prescription bottle or any nasty side effects. I mean, I've been taking this for a few months now, and I didn't realize how much the dryness and pain were affecting my marriage. I'm getting wet on my own again, and it doesn't feel like torture anymore. I'm not kidding. The first time we had sex that was pain-free, I almost cried. Now I actually want it again. I'm not just forcing myself out of obligation. It's safe to say my husband's pretty happy too. So if I were in your shoes, I'd get my hands on Hydra Her and track my progress week after week. You can actually try it completely risk-free with a 60-day guarantee. If you don't see improvement, just return it and get a full refund. What do you have to lose? I've left a link to Hydra Her with a discount code below.